Hello, I'm Felician, your host, and today with me is Patrick Jamal, the CEO of Maxima Consulting, and we'll be talking about partnerships, because, well, partnerships are a motion that we are fully exploring. So, Patrick, you've built partnerships with companies like Akamai, Axonic, Fermion, like, and many others. So, what does a real tech partnership mean to you and the company?
So I've been very fortunate in my career to build up partnerships with really, really fantastic companies over the past, say, 5 or 6 years or so. And these companies all have something in common. And that thing in common is they are solving a problem that they believe in, and they are the best at solving that problem. And that's really what they want to do. So that, I think, is kind of like the point one of what makes a good partner when you're kind of identifying who you want to work with. The second part of that is what are they not doing, but what do they need to get done, and can you help them with that? So if you look at Akamai, right, we're very fortunate to be picked up as one of the Akamai cloud compute partners a few years ago, and that was really out of necessity for Akamai as they acquired Linode, the cloud VPS company out of Philadelphia. And now they're integrating that into their larger global CDN and distribution and data centers worldwide to start getting into like the real hyperscaler cloud compute space. Akamai was wise enough to realize that what they had from a technology perspective was not on the same level of what their competitors or new competitors would be in the hyperscaler market, which would be like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Oracle Cloud, things of that nature, Alibaba, I suppose. And so they really decided, hey, this is probably not a battle that we could win on our own. We would be much stronger by bringing in partners who are already working with these hyperscalers, understand their customers, understand what infrastructure means at scale, and leveraging that know-how, knowledge, and expertise to augment our gaps in our offering right now. So they were very intentional about the partnership program, and I think that was that's what really stands out. It wasn't really wishy-washy, and they were also quite open about knowing what they know and really, really open about knowing what they don't know. And they opened up that communication for partners like us to really come to the table with a voice and say, hey, we like this, that makes sense, that has potential. I don't know about that one. And by the way, this huge white spot right here that you're unable to capture right now, we have solutions to that. So now all of a sudden, together, we got a dog in the race. We can compete now on things that previously neither of us can compete on. So we really went from two orbits or two companies really just like independently who found each other, need each other, work well together, and complement each other in a way that is particularly unique in my experience and opinion. Same thing with Fermion, which actually was acquired by Akamai. They had a solution for WASM functions. So they were really pioneering WASM and speed, right? So like sub-millisecond execution at the edge. The edge, for those who don't know, is data centers as close to the end user as possible. So Akamai's whole claim to fame is the CDN. So they've got 4,000 data centers worldwide in pretty much every single city and country. By having the data center closer to the end user, especially now with like mobile phones being everywhere, obviously, I know that probably sounds like it's like 2012 saying that, but with the rise of the smartphone,
Well, it's risen.
but it's true, right?
Yeah.
And like video content, like everything, right? Like having that lower latency really does make a difference. And then when you look at like what that means for actual businesses who are making their money and having their business model driven by the internet. E-commerce is like the first one that comes to my mind. Don't quote me on it, but I believe like Amazon or one of the large e-commerce companies said that like every second of page load that or additional page load, something like that, like 1 second equals $1 million, something like that. Like they had some formula that like speed is like so directly tied to the bottom line, and how many customers they gain or churn is unbelievable. So I think that's like a really important thing to think about, where it's like, oh, like of course we all want it faster, but what does that actually mean for the business? And when you look at the technologies that kind of come together to enable that, that's all kind of like backed by this larger partnership organization of different companies focusing on like specific niches that then really get amped up when they get connected. And so I love that motion, and I love that change that has happened in the business world over the past probably like 15 or so years. Partnerships have always been there. Joint ventures have always been there. That's nothing new. I think the thing that's different today than probably 5 or 10 years ago is the acceptance of that. So when you look at...
You're answering another question that I had before I even asked.
Oh, okay.
But that's fine. Like, you
Okay.
know, you can keep going.
Ask me. Okay, so...
Because the landscape changed. Like, before it was
Right.
like, yeah, I have everything and I
Yeah.
can give you everything from my store. You should be happy. But right now it's like, okay, this technology makes sense. You need the systems integrator. You need to connect it with this database, with this hyperscaler, and you actually need someone who knows all of that and knows how to connect it and to mix and match.
Right. Right. Because it all comes down to like those specific companies' business models. So if you look at these like solution providers, right? Or not solution providers, but like technology companies that their business model is having a framework or having a service, right? Like they want to sell licenses at the end of the day. That's what they want to do. And they want to continue to invest their money into their own engineering team to make their product better to sell more licenses. And that's awesome. Like that's their business model, and that's a great business model. And I think that the focus of those types of companies, I think that the general business advice is like stay focused and don't get distracted. So for a lot of those companies, I think a few things are in common. And this is a broad statement. This is not for everybody, but they're typically smaller, so they don't have the engineering muscle to go and like implement it for every single person that comes through the door. And they don't want to do that because they see that as a distraction for their bigger mission, which is making the best product that they can, whether that's for exit or just to grow the company. So they want to rely on partners for making that happen. I think on the other hand, partners like us, we are A, enthusiasts of technology, but B, enthusiasts of business and global business at that. And so the same way that we might leverage Akamai's cloud for hosting applications on the edge or to get it online as quickly and cost efficiently as possible, I also view Maxima, for example, as a way to enable our technology partners to leverage our global capabilities as well with our delivery centers around the world. And that's a way of like further enablement, right? So they can continue to focus on making their product better. We have that line of communication with them. They don't need to get bogged down with the customer challenges. They don't need to go and build their own data centers, and they don't need to go and create like a system integration center. They don't need to go and deal with server updates and outages and crashes and backups, all of those types of things that are like critically important for a business today. Each one is its own specialty, and each one requires a ton of investment. So it's actually quite difficult, I think, for one company to do all of them really, really well. And as we've really exited, in my opinion, the age of the generalist and really entered a while ago, but it's here now, like the age of the specialist, the partnership motion is just the best way to make that happen in a way that everybody is winning.
Yeah. So how do you choose who to partner with? Like, what's the filter?
So there's a couple different things. What is the filter for that? At the moment, like we're really focusing on companies that are really focused on cloud technology. We're focusing on companies that do need both that like day one and day two support. So that implementation, co-selling, and that additional muscle and boost to maybe get it over the finish line for an enterprise customer that might have additional requirements, whether that's compliance requirements or whatever that case may be. So we're really focusing on those types of customers at the moment. So co-selling, support, implementation, and then the day two part, which is like the infrastructure, the maintenance, and the support that way. And the way that we're able to do that is we've got our own managed platform engineering solution. That team is running 24/7, 365, and due to our geographies, right? Like we are originally from the US, from the Boston area, so we've got that strong North American footprint. But then we've got our delivery centers in India and in Poland. And so what that allows us to do is do a 24/7 coverage, right, for all of our customers worldwide. And then for those who have certain requirements, whether it's a language requirement or a GDPR type requirement, we're able to go and modify it for that. The benefit now is this ISV or technology partner that's trying to get a deal with some large enterprise who might have a GDPR requirement, that problem is solved. We can solve that problem for them. We can go and install it, and then we can go and manage it. And if that customer or that ISV is maybe having some challenges with getting through procurement or getting through vendor management or whatever the obstacle of the day may be, I'd like to think that we can help them more often than not. And that's where the ecosystem really starts to grow.
And we kind of complete what they've built. Like
Exactly.
they have a great product that's ready to go and
Right.
be applied at the client.
Right.
But there are some small blockers that
Right.
the consultancy can solve and actually quickly get to market.
Yeah.
Get to market, get to production, let's say.
Exactly. And I think equally so, like from the buyer side, particularly at these larger organizations, like they're also tired of the bureaucracy that kind of comes with purchasing or bringing on a new solution as well too. So I think the partnership model and that like better together story it kind of rings true, because now like you got like so many things going on. You got more solutions in the world than anyone knows what to do with. They all kind of do the same thing, but some is better at this, some are better at that.
Yeah.
So then you kind of have this issue where it's like, I don't know, like mushrooms of applications and solutions, and they're all just like, it's out of control. So then you got to go and like chop that down and like get it right sized. All right, fair enough. But now you kind of like shot yourself in the foot because you maybe like lost a really important solution that you need to run this thing. So I understand the challenge from like the buyer side, but then equally so, you also want to have some flexibility and say like, hey, like it's a competitive world, it's fast moving. Like one thing that's for sure is it's not getting any slower. Like everything's just getting faster. Yeah. So by reducing the friction and creating like making it easier for our customers to buy the service or procure that service and get that service so they can get going faster as well. It's just kind of a win-win for everyone. And it's challenging. Like there's many threads to needles to thread.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, it's challenging, but that's the world we live in. There are many more solutions than one can handle, and even us, like every day we see something new, and there is a new term that we have to familiarize ourselves with, and well, that's the word. So, can you give an example of when a partnership actually directly changed the outcome for a client?
No.
Then that's a pity. Okay, so next question.
An example of when a partnership directly changed the outcome for a client?
Yep.
Absolutely. So I'm going to actually pick on our favorite partnership with Akamai. So there's a customer that was spending big bills with AWS. And they were using many of the services that AWS provides. Akamai's cloud, at the time of this recording, does not offer many, if not any, of those services that customer required for their application to run. So what we were able to do with our platform engineering solution was fill those gaps and then support it 24/7, 365 with our managed service. So now we're able to turn sort of like a blank slate infrastructure layer into a pretty much like a hyperscaler like alternative or option at a fraction of the cost and like a huge improvement on like reliability and speed, thanks to all the other like strengths that like the Akamai ecosystem has. And then that customer is also able to benefit because not only are they reducing their infrastructure cost, but they're also reducing their labor cost with us now doing their entire like site reliability engineering and managed platform engineering as well, right? So now their developers who were previously like supporting the code and then like doing bug fixing and then like trying to figure out this Amazon thing when something went down, don't really have to deal with that anymore. They're still saving money. It's like a net win. And then they're also getting better outcome or output rather of their existing team because they don't have to get bogged down with all the infrastructure, DevOps, whatever you want to call it, stuff, thanks to the partnership that we were able to bring. And then that just opens up more doors for everyone to be more efficient, right? That customer can now invest more money into their product. They can invest more money into the infrastructure to make it even bigger and better, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
so it's just a win-win.
And they can improve their margins in the end.
That's exactly right.
That's what the business is for.
That's right. And like we'd like to think that they can sleep easier at night too, because before like they didn't have someone on call at 3 a.m. when something went down. Now they do, and they're saving money in the process. Yeah. So that's massive. So that's the customer benefit, right? But now the Akamai benefit, let's like talk about them too, because like everyone's winning here a little bit, right? Like they're not dealing with all the customer issues. So their teams internally are now freed up from like all these support tickets. Their teams internally don't have to go and reinvent the wheel on what AWS or any of the hyperscalers are offering, right? Like we're able to just go and deploy that like very, very quickly and take care of everything on our own. So like they're freed up. That's one less headache for Akamai. That's one less headache for the customer. One more headache for us, which fortunately we like those headaches because we're very good at those headaches. And then we can just apply our knowledge and experience on improving those so we can make that volume much, much lower and focus on what actually matters. So it really is just perfect.
Yeah. And you mentioned the SRE component. And I think that we should also dig a bit deeper onto that because for people who don't know, SRE is basically improving your infrastructure, how it functions. And in many cases, the infrastructure team doesn't have time to actually focus on that.
Right.
And we bring that with our services. So not only you have someone who's taking care of your infra, but you also have someone who's improving it and making sure it's reliable now and in the future.
Yeah. So just to maybe like fill in a little bit more on that, SRE stands for Site Reliability Engineering. And then that basically is its entire planet on its own, right? So once you get into SRE, to your point, it's about the infrastructure, and it's really about automating as much of the infrastructure as possible, and then making sure that the infrastructure is as right size as possible. So I'll give you an example. A lot of the customers that we see right now coming through who want to be onboarded into like the Maxima SRE program, they're using VMs or virtual machines. And that's how things have been done for a very, very long time. And there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a better way now. And that better way at this point in time is containerization technology with technology like Docker, containers, and then Kubernetes, which is for the orchestration layer. And as much as it's a beneficial, a much better technology for pretty much any use case, it also comes with the complexity, and it also comes with the new skill set that you need to learn, and it also comes with a new way of kind of approaching things, right? So it's not for everyone, and I think it kind of scares people off. And what we're able to do is make it that's our bread and butter. That's what our teams are really, really good at. We're really good at this program called, or this, not really a program, but this service called replatforming. Replatforming is when you take a application on location A, the first location, and that's on, say, virtual machines, and then instead of just copying it and pasting it to a new location, we're actually like not changing the code of the application, but we're replatforming it into containers using Kubernetes. So for example, you can kind of think about maybe your laptop at home. You have, so think about like your laptop, right? Like you've got like photos, messages, documents, all these kinds of things, and you've got like a 1 terabyte hard drive. So you bought that 1 terabyte hard drive because you're like, I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff. But actually, it turns out 90% of your things are saved on Google Cloud or Google Drive. So you don't need 1 terabyte, but you already bought it, right? So it's like kind of the same thing with VMs on the cloud as well. Like every month you're paying for all that storage, but you don't actually need it. So kind of the premise of Kubernetes, or one of the values of it, is right-sizing things, right? So you have that auto-scaling and auto-healing, and that's all the stuff that we're doing as well, right? So we've seen so many customers able to save so much money by just reducing that white space and moving from a VM into a container. And then it's on us to make sure that those containers are up and running all the time, and then making sure that Kubernetes is working as well, which augments a lot of the legwork. So that's where the automation comes in. And in practical terms, for companies like, again, I'll go back to e-commerce, there's certain holidays in the year, like Cyber Monday, where they're gonna be slammed with traffic. They know it, they brace for it, and we have teams ready to make sure that they don't go down. Using technologies like Kubernetes and containers, and then like auto-scaling, auto-healing, and like globally distributed cloud, really make sure that things don't go down when that traffic peaks. But when it's done, it's Tuesday, Cyber Monday's over, you're not paying for, 1,000x size infrastructure bill, you're back down to whatever you need on a normal day. And so it's pain-free with real valuable outcome.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like when partners bring us into a client, we evaluate the current setup, and we see that, more often than not, their apps are in VMs.
Correct.
And they don't even realize that it can be done in a better way. Like maybe the technical lead knows, and he told it to the stakeholders, told the business owners, but they don't realize it or don't follow his advice until someone else comes in and just backs that up. And that's where we can come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, there's just so many upsides to it as well, because once you're in a container, now it's very portable. So you can move it from cloud A to cloud B much easier, right? Like the heavy lifting is done. I'm not saying it's over, but it's done. So if this one goes down, it's much easier to now just copy over here. Or you like this service, or this one, another cloud provider has a better location for your customer base. It's much, much easier to move now. So you have less vendor lock-in in this technology as well. So it's more flexibility. And then I think it's also a unique business opportunity and challenge for both like the customer and then companies like us, in the sense that, yeah, someone inside might know that they need to do it, but they don't have the resources for it. They don't want to go and hire contractors or hire some FTEs to do it, and they don't want to manage it. But they know they need to, but that's just too much, or they don't have the budget, or there's a backlog, or whatever the case is. The value of speaking to a company like Maxima, or really any sort of platform engineering company, I'll open it up to the audience, to the industry. We've done this a million times before. Like, that's what we do, and we bring a factory approach. So you're not really having to pay for that like super high-end 350K engineer to go and solve this problem. Like, we've solved it already like 100 times. So you should benefit from that. So with the managed service, there's a huge amount of efficiency in just the speed of us doing this type of work, and that efficiency comes down to, frankly, dollar saved. So it's, again, like a win-win for many customers, large and small.
Awesome. And have you seen clients push back on the partner layer at all?
No. That has changed. So again, years ago, I feel that people were like, we have everything, we do it all ourselves, and like white labeling was like a really, really big part of it, right? So it's like, we'll work under you, no one has to know, just give me an email address. Like, that's how it worked, right? And still it does work that way sometimes, let's be honest. Like, that is still a big part of the industry. But from what I've seen and in my experience, it's encouraged to bring in partners. People would rather bring in the experts to do it. And I think where we have really seen value, kind of going back to like making that sale happen, and then also making sure that the customer is able to get the right tool for the job and what they really need, is bundling the whole thing up and giving it on like one nice consolidated bill. Everyone's happy with that, right? It's less paperwork, it's clear, and you're getting the right tool for the job. You're not getting something that's like, can do it, probably not the best. Yeah, so no. So the answer is no, not much pushback.
So now it's the better together story, like over and over again.
Yeah.
If we come in together, we have the experts in A, you are the experts in B, we bring in the experts from C, and we actually solve your problem, and you get the best outcome, the fastest, the cheapest probably, and you can realize the benefits much sooner than if one company was trying to do everything themselves.
Right. I mean, it might not be the cheapest. I don't want to say that it will be. There'll always be someone who'll do it cheaper. So and that's okay. Let them do it.
Let them do it, and then
let them do it
to the professionals.
And then call us, right? That's okay. But it will probably be cheaper than you doing it yourself. Yeah. So probably, like that's what I would say. And then it doesn't come down to like the dollar value and the price, right? Yeah. That's important. Like, I'm not trying to pretend that it's not, but what are you getting for that, right? That's the part that I think has just got to be like really, really underlined. It's the value of that.
Yeah, like, when I say cheapest, I'm thinking like in the long term, because you can bring someone from the outside who will promise you the world.
Yeah.
But then the project will stretch over time.
Yeah.
And boom, you miss the opportunity window because you were chipping out.
Yeah.
But when you bring in the combined value of those partners,
right,
you will have to pay extra at the start,
right,
but in the end you have that opportunity cost. So
totally. And I mean, even as you're saying that, like, what I'm thinking too is like I like what you're saying about like promising the world, right? So it's like, if you're promising the world, so then you're everything to everyone, then you're no one to no one. And I think now in the age of the specialist, we're coming in and saying like, hey, this is what we're like exceptionally good at, and then we have partners who are exceptionally good at this. We're going to bring them in. We're going to have to pay them. Like, everyone's got to eat at this table. But the amount of time that you're saving from us trying to figure out how to do it and like smooth it over and tell you like, oh, no, it's all under control, even though I've like never heard of this thing before. Let's just skip that conversation and be candid about it and say, these guys are the best. By the way, we're trained up on it. And by the way, we know them. We have a direct line of communication in. So any questions that do come up is just one phone call. We're that interface. You just work with me. Yeah. That's it, right? And then we take care of that. Yeah. No surprises, more transparent, and again, everyone's focusing on what they're best at.
Yeah, and honestly, like, just a quick thought from now.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a service for those more mature organizations.
Right.
And leaders who actually know what they want. Because for a startup, sometimes it might make sense, but not always. Like if you're still trying to figure everything out, you don't know what you want, like it probably won't be the best for you. But if you're already set in the market, you know the direction where you're going, you know the problems that you have to solve, then that's where you should look for you should look for vendors, providers who can bring in another partner or a set of partners.
When you're talking about the startup, you're talking about the startup from the customer as a customer, or the startup
as a customer,
as,
like,
looking
I'm
for
meaning,
partners.
like,
Okay.
I'm thinking like, you know, a company that's still in the garage.
Yeah.
2-3 guys trying to build something.
Yeah.
And they will try to bring in, you know, a company like us to solve their problem. Like that's maybe not the best case for you. Like unless you have a really big problem and you know exactly what you're solving.
Yeah. I mean, I think, right. I mean, if you're a couple of guys in a garage and you're trying to do something, you have an idea, right? Like, I mean, assuming we've got funding and you do kind of have like a business plan and not totally winging it, it probably might not be a bad idea to explore some partners just to see what's out there. And maybe that means hiring a couple contractors as engineers to get you started or build an MVP. Like maybe that is a good starting point. We work with customers like that now who are, you know, pre-seed, early stage companies. They know that they will need these types of like partnership services and all these platform engineering type things. But to get started, we're just providing them with engineers who are experts in the specific technology that they're focusing on right now in that vertical, right? Which is like Bluetooth wearables in this example. And then as that kind of gets to like V1, then those conversations will most likely shift to, hey, now we've got something working, maybe we've got some cash flow, we've got some customers coming in. Instead of having these engineers focusing on, again, like the DevOps side or provisioning a cloud, we've got a team that just like wakes up and does that all the time, and like they do it with the flick of a switch. So it will just be cheaper for you. These guys can continue to drive more value in actually making you different, and all this other kind of stuff. We have other people for it. So right tool for the right job.
So Patrick, if a technology company is listening to this, what makes an ideal partner for you?
An ideal partner for me is someone who views it as a two-way street. That's what makes it an ideal partner. We are in it to win it, and we want to give as much support as we possibly can to our partners. We want to light them up like a Christmas tree. We want to put them in front of as many of our customers as we can, and we want to co-sell and brand and be loud, and really show the value that we bring together. So if you're a technology company, you're looking to scale, maybe you've got customers in the European market that you feel you're not able to service, we could be a really good option for you. We're very strong in Europe. If you're a company in Europe and you want to enter the North American market, we could also be a very, very good partner for you as we have that experience and footprint. If location is not any part of your problem or challenge, you just really want to have some co-selling support, maybe some, or offload some of the managed services that your customers are asking for, we could be a great partner for you. And then also, if you want to grow the pie collectively with us and our existing partners and our growing partner network, we encourage you to reach out as well. The partner network is going to be an area where we see tremendous amount of growth. There's room for everybody. That's like a very core pillar of Maxima's history. And I can't wait to see how this is going to go and grow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it as well. So
thank you.
Thank you very much for today. And till next time.
Till next time. Thank you.